Hey y'all, I know it's been a while, the Christmas break, Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, all of that jazz. Of course, me and the family were on vacation, went kicking it in Vegas, visiting my mom and my aunt and all that good stuff. I hope you all had a wonderful New Year and a very Merry Christmas. And today, we will be reviewing Married at First Sight, Season 14 in Boston, Episode 1. I'm glad my show is back. I hope it is not as much of a hot mess as Season 12 and 13 one. 12 and 13 one in Atlanta and Texas. I'm not here for the hot mess, but it looks like we may have some. So let us get into it, shall we? So we start off with Lindsay and Mark. They have to go tell their friends and family that they were picked to be married at first sight. So we have Mark. He goes and he tells his friends. They were excited at first. Mark the Shark, that's what he calls himself. He said that's what other people call him, MTS for short. He's a whole lot of energetic, but he does seem like a nice guy. But he said he has a tendency to move fast in relationships. Like when 6 months comes, he's like, we need to go and get an apartment together. And people get scared. Yeah, I ain't trying to move in with nobody at 6 months. Hell, we could be together at 10 years. And that's just me though. And I'm sitting up there looking at you like, you want to move in where? You want us to do what? Baby, I'm only used to living with my son. And I had a problem when he would come home from college. Babe, I am not trying to live with no dude that quick. The man has 3 cats. He said his daddy died of cancer. His grandmama has dementia. And his mom is in a facility because she can no longer take care of herself. So he does have a lot of responsibilities. But his family was excited. They were excited for him. But they had the question, like, how would your mom feel about it because they can't be there? And you have to remember, he did try out for season, I think it was 6 or 7 the last time they were in Boston, and he didn't get picked. So this is his second time going out for Married at First Sight, and he did get picked this time. And he was like, the last time would have been perfect because all of his people could have been there. His mom, his dad, his grandma. But now none of them would be available to come to the wedding. He did call his mom, though, and tell her that he got picked. And she was like, oh, really? Like, whatever. Let me know what's up. Lindsay goes to tell her dad and brother. They were cool. She says she's the wild card and she has a rough relationship with her mom and hasn't spoken to her mom in 3 years. If me and my mom go 2 days without talking to each other, something is up. So I'm very thankful that I have never been in that position because me and my mom are super close. And but yeah, that's rough. Her and her mom do not get along, haven't spoken in 3 years. And but luckily she has a good relationship with her brother and her father. They were there for her. But her daddy said something like, you need to like think before you speak. Cause you run off at the mouth. You go after people. And you need to calm down and think before you talk to somebody because this is going to be your husband. So basically, they're telling her that she's a little, she reacts too fast. She's very reactionary. So I'm like, I hope we don't have another season like last season where this girl goes off the way Michaela did. I hope they don't clash. They might. They both are very high energy. They would get on my nerves. Like if I knew them personally, they would get on my nerves. That's too much energy for me. But they may love it, they may not, they may clash, but they may love it. So we wish them luck. Next, we have Katina and Olajuwon. They go tell their people. Olajuwon, they're gathering for a little picnic in the backyard or whatever, and he tells his people he got picked for Married at First Sight. His brother-in-law thinks is crazy as hell. Now, Olajuwon used to be a cheater and a party animal. And he said he lost his dad at 16. And now he is ready for that traditional wife, the one that will cook for him every day and have dinner ready when he comes home. Yeah, we gonna see about that. First of all, Olajuwon, he has an okay face. Now his haircut is like one of the little 12-year-olds that want the little mohawk cut. It throws his face off. That haircut is not what's up. It's not. And Katina is beautiful. She's very gorgeous. Now he gonna fall in love with her looks right off. But we go to Katina now. She tells her friends they were shocked. Katina was a former party girl. She used to host parties. She used to work in a club or something like that. Her issue was she always got cheated on. So I don't know why the experts are putting a former cheater with the chick that was always getting cheated on. We don't know how that's gonna work. She did not grow up with her dad. In fact, she said her dad spent hella years in jail from the time she was little till she was almost an adult. And she said she needs to feel vulnerable in a relationship. Nowhere did she say she was the traditional chick. We gonna see how this works, but I don't know. If Olajuwon is the cheater and she was the cheated, he claims he's changed and he's done a couple of years work. Well, he couldn't help it. We was on lockdown. He had to do some work on himself. He couldn't cheat because there wasn't nobody to cheat with. He was stuck in a damn house along with the rest of us. So we gonna see if he was really working on him or if COVID was working on him. We gonna see. So next we have Noi and Steve. Now, his family, of course, they were shocked, but they cheered him on. And he got laid off during COVID. And instead of going right out and looking for another job, he decided he was going to drive south for the winter and spent like a whole vacation out his car. And he wants a wife and children. And he's the only one in his family that is not married or has any children. But he did say that his grandparents and his aunt and uncle have had very successful arranged marriages. I think he said his grandparents have been married for like 70 years or something like that. So he is not opposed to arranged marriage and he's looking forward to this. But his family is like, what you gonna tell her when she asks you what you do? And you gonna tell, he was like, I'll tell her, my job laid me off during COVID, and although I don't currently have a job yet, I do freelance work and everything. So, and his people was like, so basically you gonna tell her you in between jobs. I don't know how this is gonna work. The man ain't got a job, but he got picked for the show, but he don't have no job. Now he may have some money saved up. And he went on this good adventure and didn't spend no money on a hotel. He basically said he slept out his damn car. But you trying to get married, folk. And from what he did, I think he said he was in software sales. I'm sure he could find a job quickly, but the fact that you coming on this show and you gonna marry your wife at first sight and you don't have no viable income, like a job, we gonna see how that works. So we go to Noi. Now she tells her friends were excited for her. Noy says she has an alter ego, and you know her alter ego wears wigs and likes to dance and yada yada yada. She's a hopeless romantic. Now she's dated across the globe. Now she's done flown here for a dude and that didn't work out. She done flew to Mexico to meet a dude, that didn't work out. So now she's like, let me go to Married at First Sight and see if they doing better for me. Her and her family are from Laos. They were refugees. Times were hard for them coming up, but her parents made it through that, and she's hoping that she can find the same kind of situation. She wants what her parents had. All right, so now we go to Jasmina and Michael. Now, of course, her family is shocked, you know, surprised that she's getting married in 2 weeks. And she said that she has a habit of dating emotionally unavailable men. Ding, ding, ding. But, yeah, that was my past big time. Now, she is a child of 9, although she says she does not know all of her siblings because once her parents broke up, her mom split and left her and her sister to live with her daddy. Her dad remarried, and she calls her stepmom mom. And when her father and her stepmom divorced, her daddy moved to Jamaica. So she asked her stepmom if she would adopt her and her sister. And she did. And her stepmom raised them. And that's who she calls mom. And her stepmom remarried. So she has her stepdad and her mom there. And her mom is terrified about this marriage at first sight. She's like, I don't know him. You know, it's all well and good when they tell you that they're going through the process, but I think the family is secretly hoping that you don't get picked because they don't know these people. I wish I would call my mom and tell her, look, ma, now, I'm getting married in 2 weeks. And she like, to who? You know, and I got to tell her, I don't know. I'm going to meet him at the altar. I think my mom would literally fly out here and you know, throat punch me. Something. She is not going to be gung-ho about the situation. But Jasmina, she's gorgeous. The girl is gorgeous. I'm going to give it to her. Now, Michael looks little to me. Now, he works out. He just looked to be like my height, a good 5'2". I don't know, it could be the camera, but he just seems a little tiny. Now, he has their sisters there. His parents had passed away, and it's just him and his sisters, but his sisters were super excited for him. They were so excited and happy. And, you know, he's worried about his lack of patience and the fact that he doesn't really know how to open up to people and let him know like all the tragedy that happened in his life. So his dad died at 11. His brother got shot. His mom died from breast cancer. So for him, it's hard to let people in. But his sisters were very supportive. There's like, I know we don't know her yet, but we will welcome her in and she will be a part of the family, you know, and which might be cool for Jasmina since her family life, she might want more family because her family situation is crazy. So, you know, he calls his brother-in-law while the sisters are there, and his brother-in-law said, look, now you are going to have to compromise in this relationship because this is a marriage. And he's like, he wasn't used to having a compromise. He said he used to pick any little thing that somebody would do wrong and use that to break up with him. And I'm kind of smiling because that was me. Your breath stank. Look, it's over. You know, your hairline a little off. I wouldn't tell him to go find another barber. I'd pick an excuse. You know, it's me. It's not you. So I know where he's coming from. I know where he's coming from with that. And he also said he's an overthinker. We'll see how this goes. Now, the man is not ugly, but the man is not traditionally attractive. So we are going to see if she finds him attractive. You never know. You know, whoever I think is just all right looking, somebody might think they fine as hell. So we're going to see what Jasmina thinks when they get together. All right, so next we have Alyssa and Chris. Chris tells his mom. Now, at first he told his mom that he was working on a show about real estate. So then he gets together with her, and his mom is thinking this is about real estate. Then he springs it on his mom that he's getting married in 2 weeks, and she's like, to who? And he was like, I don't know, I'm gonna meet her at the altar. And she said, you crazy. Basically, you crazy as hell. And Chris said he was a serial monogamist. Like, he'd be with a person for a year, 2 years, or whatever, and it would end. But he was always getting in these long-term monogamous relationships that never led to marriage. Now, the man said he played frisbee golf. Never heard of frisbee golf until Chris. You in the woods throwing a frisbee and it goes into a hole, whatever. I think it's a little weird. Could be fun. There's not a lot of women, he said, to play frisbee golf, so I hope Alyssa don't think this strange as hell. But his mom is super duper nervous about this. Okay, now we go to Alyssa. Her friends are happy about it. Her mom has hope in the experts. So I guess she's watched the show before. She rescues dogs. She says she's done it since she was little. But she only has one, thank goodness, because I thought when they introduced her and said she rescued dogs that she was going to have at least 4 of them at the house. But she only has one herself. And her friends are worried that her soon-to-be husband may not like or is allergic to her dogs. I mean, she seems nice. She's very kind of low-key or whatever. So we're going to see if those two work out. I didn't get anything alarming from either one of them. But, you know. So next, the brides meet each other and the grooms meet each other, which is cool because they're going to have to be each other's support systems. And they're all talking about what they want and what happened in the past and all of this. And it's funny because I do remember Olajuwon saying, you know, they used to call me the Facebook freak or the Facebook something or another. Like, he would be on Facebook and he would be telling everybody his name is Isaac, which is his middle name. And he was like, of course, he's like, my coaches called me Olajuwon, but the girls knew me as Isaac. And he's like, you can't get caught if they don't know your name. So he is a whole mess. We gonna see. We gonna have to see about him because he is the wild card, definitely. So the next scene, of course, they go tux and dress shopping. The dress that Lindsay picked is really pretty, but the boob part needed to be cinched or something. I don't know. I wasn't feeling the upper part, but the dress overall was pretty. Yasmina's dress was also it was gorgeous. The one she tried on at first had a little oomph to it. The second one was it was plain, but it had some va-va-voom at the bottom. And that's the one she picked. It was really pretty. It fit her well. And of course the dudes picked tuxes. They picked some nice ones. They look good. Then we go to the bachelor and bachelorette parties. Lindsay, I'm worried about her because that girl seemed a little crazy to me. She's loud and whatnot, and Oh, she thinks Yasmina is gorgeous. She's like, oh, she look like Naomi Campbell and yada yada yada. And she's like, I like 95% of the women here. And she starts talking about Yasmina and how, I mean, Yasmina and how pretty she was, and that she was loving Jasmine. Am I getting these names right? She was saying Jasmina was gorgeous and she looks like Naomi Campbell. And she was saying that, of course, Katina is gorgeous, and that she likes Noi, and Noi was over there partying. Noi was gigging at the, she was dancing her little butt off. But she said, is there a fifth wife? Is there a fifth wife? Because poor Lisa, I think that's her name. Is that her name? Because I'm messing them up. This was the first episode, so I'm trying to get these people's names together. Yeah, Elisa. Elisa was over in the corner with her friends, and she was like, people have offered me shots, and I turned them down. I just, what I like to do is sit in the corner with my friends and talk. She wasn't about that partying business. That girl is ready to get married and move on to business. So she wasn't partying with them, and her baby was getting talked about by Lindsay. Yeah, Noi was getting it. She was turning up on the dance floor. Now, at the bachelor party, Elijah Wine, he was up there dancing with the strippers, had his cheek all on the chick boobs and everything. He was doing a little too much, but I understand it's a bachelor party. Y'all gonna get it how you get it. And Mark, I don't know if he ever been to a strip club before, because when he sat in that chair with the stripper, I mean, no, but she had her crotch all the way in her face, all the way in his face. And he was just like, he was shooketh. He was shooketh. And so that was funny. But how the dudes get a stripper, but the girls get what do they call it? The cross dresses, the performance. But why they ain't get no strippers? I'm just curious about that. So we finally get to the first wedding, and it's Lindsay and Mark. This chick is a whole hot mess. Of course, her friends come and wake her up, and they're getting ready, and she flashing the cameras, throwing boobs. Did Married First Sight ever have to blur anybody out? Because that girl boobs was flashed all up in the camera, whatever. But they blurred it out. Her dad comes and talks to her, and she was like, she was a little hurt that her mom wasn't going to be there. And he was like, don't worry about it. She the one missing out, He's right. You can't, I understand her being hurt, but her mom is the one missing out on her daughter's wedding, which was crazy. So they're on their way to the venue where the marriage is going to happen. They in the Sprinter or whatever, and they opening champagne, and that girl she throwing it back like orange juice or whatever. So she got lit up like a whole Christmas tree on the way to the wedding. She was lit. She was drunk. She dropped her bouquet, had to pick it up and shake it off a little bit, and she walking to the area where she gonna get married. She belched hella hard. It was like, ooh, I had to get that out. She walking through the thing talking about, oh, is that our cake? And the producers was like, keep going. She was all over the place. So, they finally get ready to get married, and she goes walking down the aisle. Of course, they smiling at each other, whatever, and she introduces herself, and she's like, oh, nice teeth. And he's like, oh, nice teeth. And they going back and forth. She was like, that was a deal breaker for me. And she's like, smile. And, and she's like, okay, good, no cavity. I mean, she was just yapping it up. She does her vows. When it's time for him to do his vows, she kept interrupting him and the whole nine. Maybe it was nerves and she just overtalks when she's nervous or whatever, but she was getting on my nerves. I was like, girl, hush. This is your wedding ceremony. Can you hush so he can get through his vows and y'all could just go on and be married? And I could tell, even he said after the wedding, he's like, oh, this is gonna be a trip or whatever, you know. So once they're married, she's like, let's go. You know, they go to the back to talk or whatever, and they tell each other what they do. And he runs 3 gyms. I think he manages 3 gyms. And I forgot what she said she did. And she's like, let's have a drink. I have a trick, you know, where I pop the bottle or whatever with a knife. And she's like, somebody give me a sharp knife. Well, nobody bringing her crazy, loopy, drunk ass no sharp knife. So anyway, she turns the bottle away and the bottle popped itself. I was like, oh Lord, the bottle was wanting to drink. So they finally get a chance to talk and he's telling her, you know, I have a cat, you know, I have cats. And she's like, how many? He said 3. And she's like, oh no, oh my God, oh my God. And she finally said, I love cats. I have 2. So they about to have 5 whole cats plus they whole craziness. This was the end of the episode. That was the only marriage for this first week. We should be going through a couple of marriages next week. But these 2 are going to be a crazy mess. And I know he knows it. And she gotta know. We gonna see what happens. Maybe they'll work out, but it's gonna be a bumpy ride, baby. And we will definitely be back to talk about it because this is my show, y'all. So that was the end of Married at First Sight Boston season 14 episode 1. And I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.